11. These are for, we can take them one at a time. The first one is for HVAC. Any questions? Yes.
First question is that protocol even the protocol? I mean, can they just be put back on with the same language?
It's not the same actually, but because they added the amount that we wrote in, and it didn't get brought forward. We didn't postpone it. We voted it down.
Right. Normally, when you vote it down, it has to be brought back by one of the yes votes or the affirmative votes.
I think at a next meeting, at the same meeting, that's true.
If it's voted on.
At the same meeting, that's true, but on a subsequent agenda, anything can be brought on.
I don't know those. I mean, I just know that what was always told, you know. So I'm not an
At the
attorney,
same
so.
meeting, yes, you would have to be on the winning side to bring it up again, just like we did the motion to reconsider. But for a totally different agenda, you can bring anything on there.
The moratorium
was brought
on every meeting for 6 months.
Okay. With that being said, if I may, I talked to Rocky and Guido. This is the one, right, Rocky? That I talked the
correct.
heating and cooling?
Yes, correct.
Am I the right one?
If one of these guys would mind speaking on what happened on the fire, or I'm sorry, the auxiliary building. You guys, this one of these companies that did some work, and you guys did an emergency.
No, we're talking about the auxiliary building.
Oh, auxiliary, okay.
I'll let Guido start on it and I'll chime in.
Yeah, got a call. David Mackey was over there having a meeting and said there was no heat when he went in the building, very cold. So I went and looked, and when I went in there, I tried to reset, check what I needed to check. Went on the rooftop, nothing would start the system, so I called our HVAC contractor, McKenna. They came out and looked, said the units were pretty old, a lot of Band-Aid work was done to keep them running over the years. They were to the point where they probably should be replaced to be more cost effective. And I deemed an emergency due to the winter months. I wanted to make sure it was taken care of, and I moved forward and I told them kind of to start the process. In no way.
And I agreed, just for the simple fact we were worried about losing the building, meaning we were worried about the plumbing, you know, freezing over, and next thing you know we're going to have leaks and things of that nature. So that was our concern.
Yeah, and that was my thought process. In no way was I trying to circumvent and give any, you know, move forward without asking you guys.
What was the total cost on that?
18, I believe, right around 18, 17. What was the total?
14,000.
When was that done?
14,000.
December, January-ish.
We weren't notified?
No.
No time?
No, and that's...
Not before, not after?
That was
my mistake.
That was our lesson learned.
Yeah, I should have called, I should have done things there a little differently.
Well, if we didn't know about it, it wasn't a lesson learned.
No, we learned our lesson that won't happen again.
But we weren't, it wasn't anything we did to because we weren't told.
No, I've learned I've spoke with a few council members, so I just want to make sure that you guys are aware that that will not happen again. Even if it's an emergency, I'll follow a different protocol and do things a little different.
On these options, because I'm 3 or 4 of your option to renew up to an additional 2 years, whose option is it? Is that just up to the department head and the contractor?
I would say the contractor's option would be.
It would be both our options to
both
renew.
our options.
Both parties have.
Both parties.
Agreed.
It's just that at this point in our term of office, renewing things that are going to last well into the next administration, whoever's there, I have some difficulty with that.
Well, it's an option to renew. It can be
I
changed.
know it's just an option, but a lot of us may not even be here when that next option comes up or the one after that. I think it's a year at this point.
And I agree with that. I think we should just consider approving for a year and not the optional years.
Last question, how much did we spend on HVAC last year for these kind of repairs that were not, you know, doable in-house? Somebody?
Total cost, what was it?
Well, fiscal years, from fiscal year July 1, I think we're at 81,000 to date.
On these kind of outside services?
Correct.
Okay.
Is that just like
85,000.
or
Is that parts and labor?
It's parts, labor, everything all inclusive.
Okay, that's different.
$81,000.
All right, thank you. Any idea how much of that is parts?
I
Materials?
think
We can do the breakdown off the invoice.
And the good thing about this one, what Eric was able to do there is we put a 5% cap on any products that they purchase. So there's not going to be, they buy a motor for $100 and they charge us $250 $105. So,
How do you monitor that?
Copies of the actual receipts.
So you guys will get those?
We've been doing that with a few of our vendors, now we're trying to change. You know, some people have a tendency, you know, the business to reduce what would appear as their hourly rate to be more competitive, and then they hit you at 200% of the cost of parts, and there's no way to track it. So what we've done now is, on these types of contracts, is 5% above parts, which helps account for gas and time that it was to get that part, plus their hourly rate.
And is that in, they're obviously when they're bidding on this, they're aware of that?
Yeah, that's within the bid specifications.
Okay.
We've been doing that with some of the.
Anything else on item 9?
Yeah.
Sean?
Yeah, from what I've seen to this point, the use of mitten has not thrilled me. I see, frankly, I'm just off the top of my head, I see one Taylor contractor. I know that there are at least 4 electrical contractors in the city of Taylor, contractors that probably would be happy to have an opportunity to bid on this, but they may not even know that mitten exists. As far as plumbers are concerned, there's got to be a half a dozen of those who may or may not know that that mitten exists, and the same thing with the HVAC. The idea of having the potential of companies from Sterling Heights and Warren and Fraser and Flint is thrilling to me, but I'm a little concerned about whether their charges are portal to portal, or if they are a flat rate once their rate begins at the time that their job begins. As I say, I'm not thrilled with this. I would rather have Taylor companies have an opportunity to bid at least. And then not only that, but then there is this idea of retaining 3 companies. That doesn't work for me either. If you retain 3 companies, you're talking about 2 companies, I suspect, that are going to get called very infrequently, and 1 company that's going to get the bulk of the business. The charter still gives us the opportunity to bid jobs. We have made arrangements to give preferential treatment to Taylor firms, and I just don't see mitten as being the avenue to for that kind of ability. As I say, I'm just not nuts about this mitten thing.
You know, John, that's a good point, but my question to Eric would be, and this concerns me a little bit too. Don't we also still maintain that local businesses that might not be part of mitten, we would still give them the invitation to bid?
No, not exactly worded like that. What, some time ago,
Unless we
a
specify the
notification went out
department head?
to all of the vendors that we had in the database that we had used over the years, and had informed them that mitten was one pathway to be able to be notified of the opportunities. The other thing is that on the city website, the City of Taylor /purchasing, those same opportunities that are on bid are posted on the city website and available to anyone that way. So we try to let folks know about the opportunity. And then the preferential treatment, that, you know, that's charter and that's policy and that still exists today. So let's say a Taylor bidder-based company was 105 and their competitor was 101. They would still get that percentage opportunity and still ultimately would be awarded the bid, or at least, I mean, I should say, would be presented to council for their review and approval. So none of those components have changed. We just, you know, but we don't go through the phone book and look for all those and then send out letters to each of them, at least not in this time. But obviously, if you want that to be policy, you know, we'll be happy to implement it.
Eric, didn't you say though that you did, or maybe it wasn't this item, maybe it was another item, that you sent out emails to former suppliers requesting their participation as well?
That was, there was a, yes, the answer to your question is yes.
Would that be in this case here?
I don't, honestly, I don't know, because I would have to look on the bid